These are the top 10 most exciting sneaker releases that we know about in 2024. Number 10, the Air Jordan 3 Cement Gray. So even though we're almost a year out from fall 2024, we already know almost all of the sneakers that Jordan Brand is dropping at the end of next year. Maybe not like the super hyped up limited releases, but we know about a lot of the GR stuff, and honestly, a lot of it is very, very clean. And the Air Jordan 3 Cement Gray is one of those sneakers. No, it might not be the most hyped up sneaker of 2024, probably won't make most people's top 10 lists, but it's one of those clean colorways that, unless the sneaker market changes dramatically in the next year, will probably be pretty easy to get on shelves. And in my opinion, that's awesome because this is such a clean colorway. The shoe features a white tumbled leather upper. You've got gray, or I guess cement gray elephant print on the heel, on the toe, and on the eye stay of the sneaker. And then you've also got a pretty solid matte gray hit on the midsole of the sneaker. But those aren't all the gray hits that you get on the sneaker. You also get a gray midsole, you get gray eyelets, and of course you get a gray sock liner. And all of this is accented by the bright red Jumpman embroidered onto the tongue and the red hits on the lace eyelets towards the bottom of the tongue. It's clean, it's definitely simple, it's probably going to be very easy to get, but that doesn't mean it's not a good sneaker. I think this could be one of the best sleeper releases of 2024. And apparently this shoe is releasing on August 31st for a retail price of $200. And even though we can't confirm any of that at this moment, it kind of makes sense. The price point seems right, and releasing this shoe right at the end of the summer going into fall makes sense because the Air Jordan 3 is sort of like a fall sneaker, in my opinion. I mean, the hype might not be there for this release, but it's one of those shoes that I'll definitely pick up if I can find it for retail or maybe even under retail. Number 9, the Air Jordan 1 Low Year of the Dragon. So over the last few years, Jordan Brand has been releasing their Chinese New Year themed Air Jordan 1 Low, and last year's Year of the Rabbit colorway was absolutely fire, and of course incredibly limited, and because of that it resells for like $600. And I don't know what it is about these releases, but Jordan Brand always seems to go hard on these Chinese New Year shoes. They always look incredible, the materials look solid, the colorways look great, and the 2024 Year of the Dragon Chinese New Year Air Jordan 1 Lows look no different. They look incredible. The upper of the shoe comes in a white leather accented by the sort of iridescent maroon or copper colored Nike swoosh. On top of that, you've got these really clean olive colored dragon skin overlays. I don't know how they got authentic dragon skin on this, but that's props to them for that. That's stupid. Around the heel of the sneaker, you've got a gold hit with the Wings logo. The midsole comes in an off-white, and the outsole comes in a gray rubber. I'm sure there's other details on the shoe that I'm missing. I can see that there's like a satin sock liner, which looks really nice, and there's probably some really nice embroidered hits, maybe some printed details, but I won't know about any of those until I can have this shoe in hand, if I can ever get it in hand, because presumably it's very limited. Now the good news is, if you want a pair of these, you really don't have that much longer to wait because the shoe is slated to release on January 24th for a retail price of $160. But good luck getting it on the sneakers app, because that's going to be just a mess, I'm sure. Number 8, the Nike Air Max 1 Big Bubble Royal Blue. Last year, or I guess this year because it's still 2023, on Air Max Day we got the release of the Air Max 1 Big Bubble in University Red, which is the OG colorway. And while yes, that release was incredible, people love the shoe, people love the colorway, but unfortunately throughout 2023 we only got one other colorway of this Big Bubble Air Max 1. But it looks like Nike is giving us another OG colorway of the shoe on Air Max Day 2024. And as you already know, that colorway is the royal blue colorway. It's essentially the same color blocking as the shoe that we got last year, except this time around in royal blue instead of University Red. And if you have never tried the Big Bubble Air Max 1s, you are missing out. Obviously the Big Bubble Air Max 1s are sort of the OG Air Max 1s, the first release of the shoe, and then they eventually changed the bubble to more closely resemble what we have now. The reason that they changed the bubble, you guys can just watch my review. I talk about all of it in my review, so again, click the link at the top of the screen. But basically what happened was they changed the size of the bubble from the OG version to the new OG version, and since 1986, this is all we've had. And in 2023, we got the new version of the Big Bubbles, which feature a softer foam and are actually more comfortable on foot than the standard version, and so I actually prefer them, plus the cut of the shoe is much more similar to the original. So hey, any new colorway of this shoe is much appreciated. I'm really excited about it. I'm definitely going to be picking this shoe up, and of course this shoe will probably release either on or around Air Max Day, which is March 26th, 2024. Number 7, the Nike Kobe 8 Pro Tro Venice Beach. I would say that this is probably the most anticipated pair of Kobe's releasing in 2024. And while sure we have a lot of Kobe's releasing in 2024, this is the one that everyone seems to want because they love the Kobe 8 and they love the OG colorways. As the name would suggest, this shoe is inspired by Venice Beach, which is only about 13 miles away from the Staples Center, which of course is where Kobe played. And this shoe features those classic Venice Beach colors. You've got gray, you've got yellow, you've got blue, you've got orange. It's an incredibly clean sneaker, and the pattern that they use to sort of implement all these colors in the upper of the shoe works really, really well. This is one of those colorways from the golden era of Nike basketball sneakers. Everyone knows and loves this colorway. A lot of people who were around during this release really want a pair of these, including myself, and when they finally release, probably summer of 2024, it's a definite pickup for me. Now, just like all of Kobe's other recent retros, this shoe is a Pro Tro, which means it's a performance retro, essentially meaning that they updated the technology inside the shoe to make it a better ball shoe, which is pretty cool. Can't be mad at that, but it does mean that the retail price of this shoe is going to be a little bit higher than it was originally at $180. Actually, that's probably not the only reason, but still, $180, not terrible, not great. It's fine. Number 6, the Salehe Crocs Pollex sneaker. So if you're watching this channel, you gotta know about the Salehe Crocs. That was one of the most popular sneakers of 2022 into 2023. In addition to that, and also during his tenure at Crocs, he also released the Pollex slides. But it looks like the Salehe collaboration with Crocs does not end there, because he's also the creative director at Crocs now, apparently. He's releasing his own sneaker, and I honestly don't know what to expect. I love Salehe, I'm a huge fan of his work, but I'm interested to see what his sneaker looks like. Now, unfortunately, all we really know about this new collaboration is that it's on the way, and that it features an outsole that looks very similar to the outsole used on the Salehe Crocs, which, if you didn't know, is Salehe's fingerprint sort of extruded off the base of the shoe to create the traction pattern. I actually love that idea a lot. He's actually used his fingerprint on a lot of his other collaborations, like with New Balance, which I thought was incredible. In my opinion, it's such a cool way to literally add your fingerprint to a project. I think it's so sick. But either way, he's releasing a sneaker with Crocs, and I'm more than excited for it. I mean, it could suck. I'm just a big enough Salehe fan that I'll buy it anyway, but I don't think it will suck based on the way that it looks. It actually looks pretty cool from the bottom. So in this picture, all we can really see is the outsole. We can see that there's some sort of like neon green foam padding underneath the outsole. You've got this salmon colored upper, which we can guess is leather, but it could also be some other material completely. I have no idea. And it's a sneaker, not a clog or a croc. I guess it is a croc, but it's not a clog. I don't know, man. Crocs are like their own thing. It's like their own unit of measurement. I don't know what's going on. The only other piece of information that we have on this sneaker is possibly the release time frame of the shoe, because Salehe said SS24 underneath the post. That's all he wrote, which presumably means spring, summer 24. So we're guessing that the shoe comes out sometime in the spring or summer. I'm assuming like April, May is my guess, but who knows? Don't know what it looks like yet, but it could be a dope sneaker. We'll just have to wait and see. Number 5, the Air Jordan 4 Military Blue. So if you're a sneakerhead and you love Air Jordan 4s, I'm sure that you know about this sneaker. This is one of the most iconic Air Jordan 4 colorways of all time. It's an OG colorway, and it first released back in 1989. And since then, we've had barely any releases of this shoe. The last time we had the Military Blue 4s was back in 2012, unless you count the golf versions, which I don't think really count. Although, I would grab them if they weren't insanely overpriced on the resale market. And with Air Jordan 4s being more popular than they've ever been right now, it makes sense that Jordan Brand is finally bringing back this OG colorway in 2024. So as you probably know, the shoe comes with a white leather upper accented by a gray mudguard, and of course military blue accents throughout. And according to various sneaker websites, it looks like this shoe is coming back in the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 shape, which is one of the most popular Air Jordan 4 shapes because it's very similar to the OG 4 while featuring a couple small tweaks to make it a bit more comfortable. And unfortunately, I don't know when then is, because it looks like the shoe is releasing in 2024. We just don't know exactly when that's going to be. We do know that the retail price is probably going to be $210, which is pretty standard for Air Jordan 4s. But as far as when it's actually releasing, no idea. Coming in at number 4 is the Trophy Room Air Jordan 1 Low Home and Away Pack. So I didn't realize this until the collaboration was officially announced, but it looks like this collab is releasing in not just one silhouette, but 2 different colorways, named the Home and Away colorway. And apparently the inspiration behind this collaboration is the 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card, which everyone knows and wants if they know anything about basketball cards. Both shoes come in sort of a reverse black toe color block. You've got red on the toe and black on the heel, which obviously is the exact opposite of the black toes. The home pair features the white Nike swoosh and releases exclusively at the Trophy Room store in Orlando. The away pair, which honestly I kind of like more, features the black Nike swoosh and releases at various retailers, but still probably very difficult to get. Now, I've never really been a huge fan of embroidered Nike swooshes. Sometimes it's done well, sometimes I like it, like on the Edison Chen Air Jordan 1 mids from a couple years ago. This one I could take or leave. One detail that I really like about the home version of the shoe is that it features blue accents on the side panels of the shoe, like on the edges of the side panels, to obviously represent the Fleer card. It's also got a blue insole. I think the away pair has a gold insole from what I can tell from the images, so it's not exactly the same. I do think I prefer some of the smaller hits on the home pair, but I do still prefer the black Nike swoosh on the away pair. So they both have things that I like. Obviously, they both feature the Trophy Room branding on the midfoot of the shoe. They're both very clean, but I'm not gonna be mad if I can only grab the away pair. They're both awesome, but the black Nike swoosh kind of does it for me. That blue is dope though. I really like that blue hit. I like the story behind this shoe, which is crazy. I don't usually like stories behind sneakers anymore because they're all kind of corny, but this one, I can get behind. Now, if you're trying to grab either of these two shoes, they apparently release on February 15th for a retail price of $140. Number 3, the Maniere Air Jordan 3 / Maniere Air Jordan 4. So it's been a minute since we got the first Maniere Air Jordan 3 Raised by Women colorway, which during the year that it released, it was by far the sneaker of the year. Such a clean release. But it looks like Maniere is releasing another version of this shoe, and not only another colorway of the Air Jordan 3s, but also another colorway of the Air Jordan 4s. But let's start with the 3s first, because I think that's the one that everyone's most most excited about. The shoe actually should look very similar to the original Maniere Air Jordan 3s, except instead of featuring sail hits, it's going to feature dark maroon hits. Which, based on these renderings, doesn't look bad. I don't know if it's going to look as good as the original, but it's still a shoe that I would love to pick up if it looks like these renderings or really anything even close to that. Now, similar to the 3s, it looks like the Air Jordan 4s are not going to feature an entire burgundy upper like they had last time. Instead, they'll have a white and gray upper with burgundy accents. In fact, I think there's a potential that they could look like the original renderings of the Maniere 4s before that shoe actually released, which looked amazing. They looked kind of like the PSG 4s, another great colorway of the shoe. I'm definitely excited. There's no official images of either of these shoes yet, but there's a lot of potential there. And while there have been a bunch of great Maniere collaborations since the Air Jordan 3s, none of them have hit like that. Like, that shoe was just on another level. So to have something hopefully similar to that, definitely not mad at it. If they could re-release that, that'd be ideal, but they probably won't. Unfortunately, they don't always look as good as the renderings. Like, Sneaker Files and Sneakerheads always knock these renderings out of the park. Shout out to them, by the way. So I'm hopeful that they look like this, but there's a pretty heavy chance that they won't. Number 2, the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Olive and Canary. So it's crazy to say now, but we thought that in 2023 we got the last release of the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Lows. Everyone was losing their minds, myself included, and it looks like it was all for nothing because we're getting 2 more Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Lows next year. Which, hey, I am not mad at. I'm so excited about this new release. I just picked up the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low. These ones. I don't remember the name even though I reviewed them, but I love this shoe, and I would love to have more Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Lows. I actually like these better than the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Highs, which I just sold because I just never wore them. So not mad at being able to stock up on these. And also, interestingly enough, it looks like the olive colorway of the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Lows that's releasing next year is going to be sort of a reverse version of this. Well, okay, maybe not a reverse version, but it features the same colors just on different parts of the shoe. It's actually very similar to the first Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low. In fact, looking back on that shoe, this shoe is basically the exact same thing, except instead of having brown on the overlays, you've got olive. So as you can see, this shoe comes with a black nubuck upper accented by olive colored overlays and a backwards white Nike swoosh. It's kind of just standard fare at this point. It's not really different in any way, shape, or form, but I love Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Lows. I think most people do, so no matter what it looks like, I feel like people are gonna be happy about it. In my opinion, the only one that kind of sucked was the all black colorway, and that's just because it looked like a pair of Vans. Like, it didn't even look like a pair of Travis Scotts. And people want the Travis Scott name, that's why they buy them. So yeah, color blocking not that crazy, but definitely a clean look and one that I will try and pick up if I can grab it for retail, and possibly if I can grab it for a good deal on the resale market, because I'm pretty sure I can't grab this for retail. Speaking of new Travis Scotts, the olive colorway is not the only one that we're getting, apparently. We're also getting the Canary colorway, which comes in bright yellow. Hey, I'm not mad at that. They're doing something different. I love when brands do something different, and in this case, it looks alright, at least based on the rendering. So the shoe comes in a white tumbled leather upper accented by bright yellow overlays, a backwards black Nike swoosh, and a cream colored midsole and a gum outsole. And man, it really is different. I mean, okay, it's still a Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low, but the colors are so different from anything else that we've seen with Travis Scott and Jordan brand. I'm kind of into it. Now, we obviously don't know if this is going to be the final look of the shoe. Renderings are renderings. You never know if that's actually how it's going to look or if it's going to look completely different. Who knows? I expect it to not look exactly like this or probably even close to this. In fact, I'm almost even sure that the shoe is going to look nothing like this and probably worse. So we'll just have to wait and see. If it does look like this, I'm on board. Now, as you probably expected, there is no official release information for either the black olive or the Canary colorway, but expect them to release in 2024. I would assume the Canary colorway is going to release around the summertime because it seems like a very summer shoe, and the black olive colorway might release earlier than that or after that. Actually, because we're seeing actual images of this shoe, it's possible it could release sooner, like March, April. I don't know. Oh, and before I forget, apparently both of these shoes are releasing for $150, which would make sense. Number 1, the Air Jordan 4 Bred Reimagined. Now, I'm sure at this point you've heard pretty much everything there is to hear about this shoe, so I'll keep it brief. This shoe is a reimagining of the Air Jordan 4 Bred, one of the OG and most popular colorways of the shoe. However, on this new version of the shoe, the reimagined version, even though the color blocking is exactly the same, the material on the upper has changed from a nubuck to a tumbled leather. And while no, it's not the exact same sneaker that it was when it first released, it's not really even an OG anymore. It's kind of like what they did with the reimagined Royal ones, except reversed. I think a lot of people are going to like it. People seem to prefer leather right now over nubuck, at least tumbled leather. So it might end up being win. I don't know, I'll have to wait until I can see it in hand, but we haven't had a release of the Bred 4 since 2019, so it'll be nice to get a new version of the shoe back in 2024. Obviously, I think I would have preferred the original version of the shoe, but can't be mad at this. It still looks good. Now, as far as release information for this shoe, it looks like it should be dropping on February 17th with a retail price of $215, which is high, but it's like the flagship Jordan of the year, so everyone's gonna buy it regardless. And I mean, hey, Jordan 4s are probably gonna be just as popular next year as they were this year, so I'm sure this shoe is gonna fly and probably resell for Most likely 300, 350, maybe even 400, I don't know, but way more than people bought it for. But hey, that's pretty much my entire top 10 list for today. I would love to know your thoughts on this top 10 list and what your most anticipated sneaker of 2024 is, so make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you all in the next one.